may only be 5 stories tall, but that building laid the foundation for the huge skyscrapers that we have today. So that's the E.V. Haughwout building in Soho. Around the 1850s, when Soho was first becoming a shopping district, it was also becoming the cast iron district. So do you see on that building how the side is very plain, but the front is very fancy? That front is a cast iron facade. That type of architecture became very popular around here after a man named James Bogart developed a very inexpensive way to mass produce the parts needed for a beautiful building front like that. He would start with a large piece of wood and a box filled with sand. From that wood, he would carve the design of the part he needed, say an ornate column. He would then take that wooden column and press it into the box, creating a negative impression in the sand. He would remove the pretty wooden column, and in its place, he would pour or cast a molten iron alloy. This cast iron would then cool and solidify into a replica of the original wooden piece. He could then take that same wooden piece and make a bunch of cast iron columns. He would paint them and make them look like they had all been painstakingly carved out of very expensive marble or stone, when in reality, this was kind of the cheap knockoff version. His factory prefabricated tons of these beautiful cast iron facades and shipped them off to dress up buildings all over the country. But the Haughwout building here created a little bit of a challenge because it's a corner lot building. So it needed not one, but 2 cast iron facades. Cast iron's very heavy. So while it might not have been a problem to attach one front to an otherwise normally brick building, tacking on 2 could have weighed the structure down. So to solve that problem, the architect, an Irish immigrant named John Gaynor, incorporated the cast iron into the weight-bearing structure. So instead of weighing it down, that metal frame strengthened it by a lot, meaning Haughwout could have built more than just 5 stories. He was gonna build 6, but that's a whole other story. But wait, there's more, because it's not enough for a skyscraper just to have the strength to build up. They also need to be able to move people to the upper floors. Sure, we had stairs, but most people were only willing or able to climb so many flights before you just were not going to go to that shop or visit that friend's apartment on the 5th floor. I'm sorry, Courtney. But Haughwout solved that problem when he installed the world's first passenger elevator. Okay, so we had elevators before, but they weren't safe for passengers. If the hoisting cable were to break, there was nothing to stop those early elevators from just free falling straight down. Until 1854, at the World Fair in Queens, the inventor Elijah Graves Otis presented an innovative safety system that included retractable levers in between the elevator car and the shaft. So, if the hoisting rope was functioning properly and holding tension, those levers would remain retracted and the elevator could move freely. But if that hoisting rope were to break and release the tension, it would also release springs behind these levers, which would shoot them out. The levers would then catch the elevator on grooves in the wall. Access to a safe passenger elevator suddenly made those otherwise unattractive upper floors a lot more desirable, which was very uplifting. Haughwout's customers could not wait to ride what was described as a railroad into the sky. It flew at such a rate that to soar from the ground floor all the way up to the 5th would have taken about 1 minute and 45 seconds. Now, that original steam-powered elevator has been replaced, and cast iron largely gave way to steel frame structures around 1900. But E.V. Haughwout still stands as one of Soho's biggest trendsetters, giving every skyscraper since a lift. I know, elevator puns are bad on a lot of levels. I'm taking steps to avoid them.